Welcome to Members Only, a show centered around CMAC members and the projects they produce. My name is Johnny Pacina, and I'll be your host for today. In this edition of Members Only, we'll be talking to Gary Kennedy, the producer of the Jesus Tree Factor, and Madison Coleman and Peyton Cheney, the talent of the Jesus Tree Factor. First up is Gary Kennedy, the producer of the Jesus Tree Factor.
Hey! Jacob, will you go to your room and take off that stupid costume?
What a lovely tree.
Oh, it better be after all the time and money I spent on this tree. I want everybody who views it to get in the holiday spirit right away or get out of my house. I'm serious, get out of my house!
Is this supposed to be a Christmas tree too? Who are all these people ornaments on it? It explains the real reason of why we celebrate Christmas. Pretty cool, huh? What's the real reason for Christmas anyway?
Alright then, let's go get into my car and get out of here.
Okay, everybody ready for the Winter Wonderland program?
No, actually, we changed our minds. We're gonna go with Ryan to the church youth program.
What? Are you serious? What am I supposed to do now?
I don't know, you can come with us.
Don't you guys want to celebrate Christmas with your friends at school?
No, that's okay. The main guest of honor isn't even invited there, so we're gonna go somewhere where he is welcome.
Who are you talking about?
Jesus, Mom, Jesus. The real reason for the season.
In the first book of the Bible, we were told how long ago, when God created the world, He also created the first parents. They were named Adam and Eve. God made a beautiful garden for them to live in named Eden. However,
Welcome back, everyone. Well, that was one of my favorite highlights of Members, just kind of behind the scenes too, because you don't get that aspect of that visually as much.
Correct. Yeah, in your opening credits, you'll show a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff where people are doing things.
Right.
Yeah, I thought it was important to get those pictures in there and show people that want to do this kind of project.
Right.
You might really have some cramped quarters, you know.
Right, yeah.
We should in there. We had a jib and a total 3 cameras, and it got crowded.
It got a little crowded.
Yeah,
huh?
and you got 4 young ladies there, and there's 4 or 5 of us on the crew. So, yeah, it can get pretty chaotic at
Yeah,
times.
it gives the viewer an inside look. But Gary, I just we kind of jumped over this, but I wanted to properly introduce you and say hello again.
It's great to be here.
Yeah, second time you've been on this program, and it's great because we're coming at it at a different angle now. We initially talked about all your projects from before,
Correct.
and now we're talking about a new project, but we're highlighting you and your show this particular episode, as well as bringing in some of your talent later on, as we mentioned on the top of the show. And I think that's going to be a great kind of a treat in a way, because you don't really hear that much from the talent in terms of you know, what their experiences are like and what they do.
Yeah.
And
And another great thing about the talent is, if you become a CMAC member down here, it's hard to find talent, as you know.
yes,
So you pick on family,
yeah.
you know.
Right.
I got 4 grandchildren in this,
Oh, hey.
a niece and my son.
Well, you got them all rallied
Yeah,
up. Huh?
I mean, and I don't have to pay them either, you know. This is their Christmas present, so,
Yes.
you know, it's been a great experience.
That's great. Yeah, it's something to add. You know, if they want to pursue something like this, it's a great first-time exposure
right.
too. I
That's
mean,
right. Absolutely.
I feel like that's kind of how my start was personally too. I started in front of the camera, talent,
Yeah.
and that's kind of what I did too. And it's great to see the other side of things. And when you kind of bring both of those aspects to video production in harmony, people, the crew, talent, all understand what's going on all
Yes.
together. And I think
Yeah.
that makes for a better production. It becomes that really
Oh, yeah.
true ensemble.
Yeah, yeah, it's like
everyone on the same page.
you know, CMAC, it talks about being a collaborative effort, right in the title there. And that's just what this is. It's a collaborative effort. The talent can't do it alone. the crew has to have coordination with the talent. The director has to oversee it all. The producer, everything else, and you got the script too. You know?
Exactly, right.
And you got to schedule everything. And I think we shot this in, I don't know, it's about 7 different nights. And,
Wow, really?
Yeah, that
That's about
many
the span
times.
there.
Yeah. Well, the girls are busy. They go to school, you know, so
They're-
we had to shoot at night. We had
yeah.
no choice, and they got to eat when they get home and everything
Right,
else. So
yeah.
you know, and they're tired, and
You got to keep your talent happy, right?
yeah, you got to keep them happy, you know. And the people that dedicate their time, they have lives too, and you got to coordinate all those things. So
Right.
it's a major production, but it's a treasure to do.
It
you know?
is, yeah. And we always talk about that, you know, at the end when you're done and you watch it, it's all wrapped. That satisfaction you have
Yeah.
of you've completed everything.
Right.
And I gotta say, if for those of you who haven't been able to watch Gary's programs, I highly encourage that you do. At the end of the show, we'll be able to give our viewers where to go to watch your programs.
Thank you.
But you started off on a high note, I think, as your membership, you know, when you started, and also with your productions, and you've even gotten better from there, I think, especially with your cuts. And it's really great to see how you've really developed your composition and what you're doing.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, where did you draw some of your I guess your inspiration, or did you use some other projects as an example to make this one in particular?
Well, this one in particular is, I wrote a book, and the actual ornaments that you see on this tree are something that I actually produced separate from this film, and I wanted to make a movie about these ornaments. And you'll see the girls in the film holding up this book.
Ah, yes.
Okay, and the actual ornaments that are on the tree, the biblical ornaments, come from this book, and the examples of the different prophets in the Bible and everything else. And it explains
Okay.
how actually Christmas started in the Garden of Eden, not
Gotcha.
just one night in Bethlehem. And if people want, they can go on the internet and for free print out this book and the ornaments at JesusTreeDecorations.com.
Oh,
no cost
fantastic.
whatsoever. They can
Wow.
make them different sizes. They can make them black and white so the kids can color them. It's a good homeschool project. Or you can print them out in color on glossy paper and decorate your tree, put the book underneath the tree, and explain it to somebody. And that's
Right.
essentially what happens in this movie. You know, they're going to go to the school in a secular event there to celebrate the winter program, and the daughter's already gone to church and received a book like this, and her friends come over before they go to the school, and she introduces them to the objects on there, and then it shows the different dynamics between many positions held, which are fine, that don't celebrate the birth of Christ, as opposed to those who do. And it's not to show conflict here; it's just to show, there's a difference, and people should have a choice.
Right. And I think this is really where creativity has come into play, because you have various people that come to CMAC with various messages.
Right.
And what they want to do is, a lot of the time people's mindsets are, I just want to put the camera in front of me, put the camera in front of whoever's representing my views and beliefs,
Sure.
and have them just talk,
Yeah.
which works, right?
Yeah,
But
sure.
you're really coming at it as a creative angle. You're applying sort of a real life kind of situation. You're applying a narrative story along with it that has the message behind
Yeah,
it. That's
yeah.
what filmmaking is about, really,
Yeah,
honestly.
yeah,
You have
sure.
the symbolism, you have various dialogue that really points to the message of what you're trying to convey.
Sure.
And you've really done that, I think, and ran with it, especially with this story as well.
Yeah, because each girl that comes to visit and go with Madison to the school play comes from a different angle. One girl has father issues, and so she has a hard time identifying with a loving heavenly Father.
I see.
Another girl has no church background at all, but she seems the most drawn. And the third girl is kind of double-minded, and probably likes boys more than anything. So it's,
Okay.
we're all at different stages. So I try to mix that in there and just bring out the the old traditional reason of why we might want to celebrate Christmas.
Well, you've already added dynamic to your characters too. The three-dimension characters, and how they all have some sort of background. They're not just
Yes.
You're not just throwing these characters in the story just for the sake of throwing them in the story to have
No.
these conversations. They
I
have
want it
these
to be
backgrounds.
realistic.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
definitely.
And it's something that we're starting to develop, especially with newer projects. You want me to come back and work on your show, which I've done
Yes,
already.
absolutely.
And
yeah.
I've had a great time doing it, so thank you. I want to And you know, that's typically you'll see people that'll be interested in just being talent too, and it's just a matter of asking. And like you said, they're some of the hardest people to find, but when you do,
Talent's hard. And as you know, we're losing one, Krista, from
Krista,
Paranormal Journeys.
yeah, which has been featured on our show actually. Paranormal Journeys, Jackie talking about her show. You've even talked
I did
about
the
your-
short film, What Do You Think, that she starred in.
yeah.
Incredible talent, and she's leaving. And I've discussed with you, and I'm going to have you direct the next one, What Do You Think, number 2. And because Krista is leaving, we're going to shoot some of her scenes before she leaves. And then we'll just fill them in later. And I'm going to have to manipulate the script somehow to make that happen.
make that happen,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. But you know, that's the fun of working down here.
Well,
You know,
not non-sequential editing, right? You shoot things out of
I-
order, but you piece it together.
That's
Yeah.
exact. Well, as a matter of fact, in this short film, my niece, she came one night and filmed, and she had her hair down. And the next time she came back, unbeknownst to me, in another room, she had another scene. She'd put it in a ponytail.
Oh.
Now the problem was
continuity.
is she had long hair, and then all of a sudden she walks through the door to the other scene. She has a ponytail, so I had to go back, reshoot the scene,
Yes.
have her saying something while she puts
While
her
she's
hair
putting it
in a
back.
ponytail. Then she could go out the door.
Oh,
You know,
see,
so.
well, and that's not. You need that crew person to keep track of those too, whether it's
Yeah,
the
I
director
know.
or other people.
I know.
Well, Gary, I'm getting the wrap-up signal. So
Okay.
again, thank you for returning to the
thank you.
show. I'm glad
Anytime.
we can talk about other things related to your show. So
Sure.
we'll be back soon. So I'm sure.
Cool.
All right, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll be joined by the talent of the Jesus Tree Factor. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Members Only. Joining us now are Madison Coleman and Peyton Cheney, the talent of the Jesus Tree Factor. Let's take a look at a highlight.
But he warned them not to eat from one tree in the garden, the tree of knowledge of good or evil, or else they would die.
And what were their names?
Adam and Eve.
Oh yeah, I think I've heard of them before.
I go to church every Sunday, but I've never heard of them.
Do you even read your Bible?
Moses also informed people that there was one coming after him someday that they should listen to. That person would turn out to be Jesus.
Like I said, more rules on how not to have fun, and more rules to make you feel guilty for having fun.
Not true. God is only asking us to pay some attention to him and to trust in him. Don't do things like steal, lie, or kill your neighbor. I mean, tell me, which one of those rules do you feel like is making you lose out on having the time of your life?
Probably not killing you at this moment for making her look so stupid.
Sorry, didn't mean to make you look stupid.
It's okay, I kind of walked into that on my own.
That's a wrap.
It's okay, let me go check my email.
I know.
Oh wait, I want to see it though.
Welcome back. Here we have Madison and Peyton. Thank you for joining us today. This is kind of a rare thing for us because I think this is actually the first time we've had just the talent being interviewed on our show. And usually we have either the producer or the director and sometimes people involved in the talent. So again, thank you for taking the time out of your day to come and join us.
Thank you.
Yeah. So let's talk about the production side and everything and kind of how you were approached by Gary and what he asked of you to be in the show. So what was the first time he approached you about it?
He just he came up to me one time and he was just like, I want to do a movie and I want you to be in it. So
Nice.
find some friends and
And
we'll
asked
make a
them to,
movie.
yeah, nice.
So
And what is your relation to Gary now?
he's my grandpa.
Okay, so there we go. And that's so easy. He was just mentioning it's easy to get a hold of family to be a
Yeah.
part of it, right? So, and how about you, Peyton? How were you approached?
Madison kind of came to me and was just like, my grandpa's making a movie. Do you want to be in it? And I thought it'd be a good experience to have. So
Great. That's, and honestly, I think the first time I had been a part of a project at CMAC was kind of the same thing. You just approached by, it's like, do you want to be in this? And I thought about it for a second and I said, well, it's probably a good experience to have, right? And
Yeah.
do you think you're going to start to maybe take this and run with it, maybe do more type of maybe acting? Or are you going to look into acting maybe? Or, because you guys are in high school, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm actually in drama right now.
Oh, okay.
Like I've been in it for a while, and it's a lot different than being on the film, but the film's more fun.
That's good. And have you noticed any differences already based off from drama and acting for the camera versus on the stage?
Yeah, when you're on the stage, you have to have everything memorized, you're blocking down.
Mm-hmm.
But then when you're on camera, it's okay if you mess up.
Right. You can do another
you
take,
can do
right?
yeah.
Exactly.
So it's a lot less stressful.
Yeah, and another thing I've noticed too, just my experience with acting as well, and I'm sure you'll probably encounter it, you have the microphones on you when you're on set, and you don't really have to project.
Yeah.
When you're on stage in drama, you have to kind of really be booming voice, making sure, I've always been told the back has to hear you too, right?
Yeah, you have
But
to
the back-
yell.
Yeah, basically, right? Yelling your lines, especially if it's a musical, you really have to be hitting
yeah.
those notes and singing really loud. So, but that's great. So you're already getting awesome experience. I would definitely take advantage of that and add that to your resume too. So, in terms of the set itself, how was the production day? Give me an example, maybe Peyton, on a day you walked into the production and you were on the set. What was your personal experience on that set?
it was really fun. I had a really hard time remembering my lines, so it took me a couple times to get them down. But once I got them down, it was pretty fun just
Nice.
to be able to get that experience.
Now, I'll give the viewers a little secret here, it's okay if you want to admit to this. If you're one of I think everyone actually did this, but everyone was reading this at one point in a scene, right? They had this
Yeah.
open.
Yeah.
And Gary gave me some insider information and said there's some lines in there too, right?
Yeah, we
Oh, yeah.
actually took our lines, our paper sheets, and we put them inside the book. So when we had to flip the page, we just had our lines there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
So that was pretty easy.
that's okay. I've done that too, and like you said, at least you have takes too, right? You
Yeah.
can do a line, memorize it. The challenge is always trying to memorize that line right then and there. And did you guys have any challenges with memorizing lines aside? What other types of challenges would you say that you had on set?
I looked at the camera a lot. I made eye contact with it,
Yes.
so that was really.
It was kind of weird having all the cameras there, so you didn't really know where to look, what to do,
Right.
and they were sometimes up in your face. So it was
that's another new
a little
experience
weird.
too for a lot of people that start off acting for the camera for the first time. Sometimes that camera's right here, right?
Yeah.
And to the viewer, when they actually watch it, it looks like it's, not that close at times, but you really want to get that emotion and all that. So how many times would you say you had to do takes? What was the most amount of takes you think you had to do for a scene?
I had a tongue twister one time.
Oh, did you?
For me, it was. So I probably took 4 or 5 takes just to try and get it down.
Okay. Well,
So.
on a side note, it's a scary movie, but The Shining, Jack Nicholson, I think the "Here's Johnny" line, if I'm not mistaken, he did over 3-4 dozen times before the director actually liked the take. So don't feel bad if you had to do 4 or 5 times only. So that's great. Do you plan on working on any other productions after this, whether CMAC related or at school?
I don't know. I think if like I got an offer to do it, or like if there was an opportunity, I would take it.
You would take it? Okay,
But-
great. And how about you, Peyton? Would you think you'd do
I
the same?
agree with Madison. I'm not in the drama program at our school, and I've only
Okay.
done dramas in like 5th grade. And I was
Gotcha.
like the little side character, the tree.
Oh, okay.
So-
Hey, that's all right.
Yeah,
Everyone has a
so-
star, right?
Yeah.
Did you learn anything on the production side? I know when the talent, you're focused on your lines and everything, but did you learn anything in terms of how the camera and the operation works as well? Did you take any notice to any of that, or were you so focused on the scene?
I thought that it was like really cool
Mm-hmm.
to like be able to do that, and how they like would hold the microphone. It'd be like
Oh, yeah.
right above
yeah,
you.
the boom mic, right? They hold
I thought
in.
it was cool.
And there's a technique to that too, which is amazing. You actually can't like, you have to hold it a certain way, because
Yeah.
if
Really?
you don't, you're gonna get like it might hit something and you get that sound. It'll
Yeah.
vibrate, or you'll hear just noise. The mic really has to be pointed at the talent. And yeah, like you said, it's kind of
Mm-hmm. It's like hovering
kind of
over
floating
you.
around there.
Yeah.
And did you? I noticed this a lot on set too. But did you happen to notice too? Sometimes the boom operator has to work with a camera person to make sure they're not in the shot. And I don't think that you guys had any of those issues. But did you have issues with that on set as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was really crowded.
Oh, okay.
So like
Yes.
you had to make sure like nobody was bumping into each other, nobody was in each other's way.
Or like
Gotcha.
watch the cords on the ground.
Yeah.
'cause you
Yeah,
couldn't, like-
safety and all
Yeah.
that. Right. All right, Madison, Peyton, when will we be able to see you and perhaps another future project?
My grandpa's thinking about doing like short films on each different ornament, and like
Oh,
that
okay.
was in the whole movie.
The one he mentioned earlier
yeah.
from the
so
ornaments.
we
and the
might
book.
be in that.
Great, great. And so when can we see the show coming up, the one that the audience has been able to watch highlight from?
Sometime in August it will come out. So
Great, okay. Well, we'll be looking forward to that, and we're definitely going to let everyone know when they can see it. Stay tuned on social media to make sure everyone knows what's going on, and that's the best way to go. You guys are on social media,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, who isn't, right?
Yeah.
So that's great. So thank you again for being here, and really happy to have some talent for once on here and actually talk to see what your experiences are like. So that wraps it up for today's Members Only. If you'd like to see more about any of the shows we've talked about today, you can look for them on CMAX channels, Comcast 93, as well as AT&T Channel 99. If you don't have Comcast Xfinity or AT&T Uverse, you can go to www.cmac.tv to watch the live stream under the Watch tab. Thanks again to our guests Gary Kennedy, Madison Coleman, and Peyton Cheney. And thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time.